everybody. Another tutorial. So we're gonna do like a simple spread like this. So I will show you how to do that. It's quite simple. So hopefully you're gonna like that. I've seen a lot of people have this like Patreon discounts. So I have a Patreon as well, and I figured why not also make a discount. So it's a 75% discount. Which is basically like $1, and a half only now. So, but there's only 4 videos. But if you want to check it out, you can do so. The discount code is 2025. I will link it in the description below. Yeah. Hopefully you're gonna like the tutorial. Let's get on with it. Let's start. Woohoo! Geometry, like always. We can start off with a grid. You can always replace this. Let's see. We want to scatter some points so our zombies can go out and hunt. Let's do a float noise. And this is going to be our health, basically. And to make it look a bit more interesting, perhaps. Something like this. I'm going to call this health. I'm also going to remap this to 0.1 to 1. So some are going to die faster. When they get infected, they can become a zombie a lot faster. And let's initialize some values. So we want to have some zombies. Zombie, like so. And let's just say that these are also infected. Like so. I'm just going to say point number 1 and 1000 is a zombie. Yeah, we can do the other one later. So the infection system is going to be in a solver. This is just empty solver that gives us the previous frame. So we always, get the updated values every frame instead of not having it in a solver. We can also do a color. And for now, I'm just going to basically look at the zombies. So we got that. I'm just going to pin it. We go in here. We're going to have one node in here. It's going to be this one. So what we want is we want zombies, these two, to look for neighbor points and infect them. Okay. So we can first just basically say, hey, if you are zombie, if you're not a zombie, return. Okay, so anything we do after here is not gonna do anything if you're not a zombie. That's why I have this. And then I'm going to use a near point function. It's going to give us the point numbers in an array, and it's going to be ints because it's point numbers. So equal near point. There are more proximity functions, but this is one of them. Let's see, its first one is going to be the input, which is this one, so 0, and then the position. And then it's basically just like how far are you gonna search and how many can you get. And then we just need to for each this. We're gonna loop this this array, and first one is we're gonna say int pt, and then it's going to be the not few. It's gonna be we're gonna loop the found because it's an array, and in each iteration that it does, the PT is going to be the the number basically that it has found. And here we're going to do a set point attribute. So it's 0 again, and infected is the attribute. PT is the number, and the value we want is 1. You are now being affected. We're going to do another thing here. We do this later. I just want to show you what happens if we just let it be like this. Then we of course have to drain the health that we have. So we're gonna have to say, if you are infected, and why I can do this, I don't need to do like, you know, I mean, you could do this, but we're basically dealing with either 0 or a 1. So this would basically be, hey, if you're 1, you're true. And here we're just gonna do our health that we specified in our noise. We're gonna do minus equal, I don't know, this maybe. It's gonna drain it by this every frame. And of course we're gonna have to say, you know, if your health is less or equal to 0, then you are a zombie. Like so. And why I say less or equal is because most likely it's not going to hit 0 exactly. It's going to be like a negative value. So it's just easier to do this way. We can also basically, we can do this as well. Only do this as well if you are greater than 0 in health. So you don't need to go in here. Otherwise, let's see if we play this. It seems to work. And see how it's getting slower and slower, right? We don't want that. This is a pretty intensive kind of thing to do. So if we can get away with not doing it, then that's a good thing. So what we can do is say if, and we can use a point function. This is going to be able to give us an attribute value of our choice from a certain point number. And we have the point number in this P in our little for each here. So I want to get the infected attribute and from this PT. And if you are 1, because we have this in an if, I want you to continue. Whoops. Now it's kind of weird, continue, but it just means that if this hits, it's going to skip and then go to the next iteration. So it's not going to do this. And if we play this now, it's much, much, much faster, right? Compared to this, which gets slower and slower and slower and slower. So it's just a good thing to do. Why am I saving all the time? Yes. So now we have something. And you can, of course, tweak values here to maybe get a different look. Can change this, but I'm just going to keep it at what it is. Another thing we can do to spice it up if we want to, we can use a draw here. Just going to do this. Projection, just do ZX, press enter, and I'm going to draw something. Something like that, maybe. We can resample this. This is just going to basically resample the amount of points we have. It's going to give it a few of these. And then we can just set these to be a low health. Health equals 0.2 maybe. And then we can do a transfer attribute. Or attribute transfer. I always say everything backwards. This is the easy way of doing it. I mean, we could have done it in a wrangle, but it's just quite easy. And we can say, give us health. And let's just lower this to something low. And let's look. Whee, that's pretty cool. Maybe we want to this a little bit. It looks kind of cool. And of course, you know, we could always just insert something else. Of course, you would have to do the draw curve on the new thing. There we go. Let's increase these a little bit. I think it looks pretty cool. This could be like, you know, you're growing, you can remap this value to P scale, for example, and just have like grass growing, or maybe it could be a fire spread or something. So right now we are looking at zombies, and it's pretty much is on off, right? There's no gradient here. So let's create a gradient instead. Let's do a attribute wrangle again. Let's do it here and not in here, because we're only affecting these 2 points. So here I'm going to do like a origin, let's call it orig health. So now we're just storing the health in a new attribute because we are modifying it in here. So I'm just saving it here. And let's just first, let's call this mask. I'm just gonna give this like a cool color. That's a good one. Then we do another attribute wrangle. And we're gonna use the mask that we said. We need to fit the health. This is the one that's being modified in our solver. So what's the original values? It's from 0 to our orig health that we stored. And now we can just remap it to 0 to 1. And if I did it correctly, which I didn't, or maybe I did. Yeah, so now we have a little bit more of a gradient here where it builds up, and you can then use this mask, you know, to do something with it. Maybe a P scale or something. Cool. That's about it. You know, always slap in some other thing here. Now it doesn't look as cool, but you know, you have to play around with the values. But that's about it. Hopefully that was hopefully it was something at least. Yeah, have a good one.